P. Diddy has always been one of the cruelest and dirtiest men in the music industry. His involvement in several mysterious deaths, such as Tupac's and Big's, made the whole world temor, and his perverse actions attracted several accomplices to his sick schemes of abusing and humiliating women. But in this whole disgusting industry, there was a guy who never joined Diddy, and he had the courage to warn us about him from the very beginning. Today, I'm going to tell you why Eminem was never afraid of P. Diddy. I'm Guilherme, and you're watching DECIFRAHITS. In 2024, the internet was shocked when Eminem released the song Feel. No one could believe he had the audacity to call P. Diddy a rapist in that song.
Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P. Diddy? Yep.
Some said he only had the courage to say that because Diddy at that point was already about to be arrested. But what many people don't know is that this wasn't the first time Eminem warned us about Diddy, nor the second or third. He had been warning us for a while. Since the beginning of his career, when Eminem started in rap, Diddy was already at the peak of the industry. He was the owner of the label Bad Boy Records, which launched one of the greatest rappers of all time, Notorious Big. Not only that, but Diddy was also one of the most successful producers in hip-hop. So getting close to his label was the dream of many people. Even 50 Cent, who, despite never being friends with Diddy, almost signed a contract with Bad Boy Records at the beginning of his career. But in Eminem's case, even before signing with Dr. Dre when he wasn't even known yet, he didn't show any fear of the mogul. And he was already throwing indirect shots at Puff Daddy, like on the Slim Shady Demo 97 mixtape recorded in 96. He comes in and sprays pepper gas in Puffy's face. But to give you an idea of how bold Eminem was, let me give you some context. In the early 90s, Puffy wasn't as feared as he would be in a few years. Actually, the real boogeyman of the industry at that time was Suge Knight. The mogul, owner of Death Row Records, who launched rappers like Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur, was known by many as the Devil in the Red Suit. Not only because he was a member of the Bloods gang, but also because he got everything he wanted. Through violence, brutality, and by bringing panic and terror wherever he went. As Fat Joe once said in an interview,
"They weren't just intimidated by Suge Knight. They were actually scared of Suge."
Exactly, but Eminem was never one of those people. One of the proofs of that was when Suge Knight showed up with 30 Mexican gangsters on the set of Inda Club. Like we mentioned in the video where we broke down that song.
Showed up to the club video shoot, he was like, Suge's outside. Everybody was like, he was running, dropping stuff, light man, everybody going pow. I'm in front of the camera like this.
Yeah, everyone bailed, but Eminem didn't take a single step back. On the contrary, he went straight up to Suge to confront him.
I was freaking out when I realized Eminem was real. He just said, "I don't give a damn, man." This is when I knew. I was like, damn, Eminem is a real one. 50 thugs outside, what's up? And then Suge just walked away. The Mexican looked kind of confused, like they didn't know what was going on.
After that encounter, Eminem even made a diss track attacking Suge Knight. But as we mentioned in the Decoding Like Toy Soldiers video, Dr. Dre convinced Eminem to stay out of the beef and never mention Suge Knight's name in his songs.
My intentions were good. I went through my whole career without ever mentioning.
My intentions were the best. I spent my entire career without mentioning him. Besides that, Dre told me to stay out of it, that this beef wasn't mine, so that's what I did. I stayed out, just watching and grinding my teeth. Interestingly, in 2025, that diss track, which had been banned by Dr. Dre more than 20 years ago, ended up leaking on the internet. It was the track Smack You, and in it, Eminem openly accuses them of the deaths of Tupac and Notorious Biggie Smalls.
Always responsible for the deaths of the two greatest rappers to ever grace the face of this planet.
I consider Suge responsible for the deaths of the two greatest rappers who ever walked this planet. So if Eminem was willing to stand up to Suge Knight, man, do you really think he would be afraid of Diddy? But the attacks against the most disgusting mogul in the music industry didn't stop in the 90s. Even after signing with Dr. Dre and getting his guidance, not to mention those dangerous guys, Eminem kept dropping heavier and heavier disses against Diddy. Like in 2000 in the song Marshall Mathers, where he goes after Diddy and his then-girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, telling her,
Much of me, you little groupie bitch, get off me, go fuck Puffy.
"Your bitch is shallow. Get off me and go fuck Puffy Puff Daddy." Today known as P. Diddy, he never responded to Eminem's attacks. Maybe he saw him as too insignificant at the time, which could have been a huge miscalculation. Since in the early 2000s, Eminem blew up on the music charts, reaching the top of Stardom and receiving the first Grammy of his career. By the way, in 2003 when Eminem won the Grammy for Best Rap Album, guess who was responsible for handing him the award? Creating an awkward situation.
Wow, that's a good one. And the winner is Eminem, The Eminem Show.
Yes, sir.
Thank you in front of the cameras. When asked about Eminem, Diddy always made a point to acknowledge the rapper's talent. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine in 2003, Diddy said the following: "Of course, Tupac and Big are on another level, but I think Eminem is up there with the best MCs." But Eminem never bought into Diddy's friendliness. While Diddy tried to appease the beast with praise in the press, the skinny, dark guy kept holding his ground. If only he had known getting involved with the bad boy was a bad idea. Despite that, eventually their paths ended up crossing. Remember I said that 50 Cent almost signed with Diddy's label back in the early 2000s, say? So the deal didn't happen, and 50 ended up signing with Eminem and Dr. Dre, one of Puff's biggest enemies. And with 50 Cent's explosion in the industry, Diddy realized he had missed the opportunity to sign one of the biggest names in rap, which may have created a very dangerous feeling of envy in him. As time went by, it seemed that their relationship would be limited to indirect jabs and distance, without any direct confrontation. But all of that changed in 2015 when a documentary called Murder Rap was released, in which a retired Los Angeles police detective named Greg Kading presented a complete investigation into Tupac's death. Big Kading revealed that a man named Keith D had confessed to being involved in Tupac's murder. The mastermind behind the crime, who allegedly offered $1 million for the rapper's head, was P. Diddy. I've already shared this story in another video linked in the description. The fact is that from then on, 50 Cent never stopped antagonizing Diddy, and on his Instagram, he frequently reinforced these accusations. He wasn't afraid of the consequences.
"I told you can't trust this stuff. P. Diddy didn't kill Tupac."
Man, with Eminem and 50 Cent clearly teaming up against Diddy, the mogul felt he needed to react. But, cowardly as always, he didn't do it directly. He let one of his bad boy soldiers attack Eminem and, with that, ended up making a huge mistake. Machine Gun Kelly, also known as Machine Gun Kelly at the time, was an artist signed to Bad Boy Records, Diddy's label. Machine Gun Kelly released a diss track called Rap Devil, attacking Eminem.
"Hello, Marshall. I'm Coulson. You should return to recovery."
For those who know the skinny dark guy, someone who's not even afraid of his own mother, they know that attacking him could be the worst and last decision of an artist's career. And Eminem's response, man, was devastating.
The song Killshot, the song Killshot.
The title of the song says it all, A Shot to Kill, and the one who died here was Machine Gun Kelly's career. Just so you know, Eminem roasted Machine Gun Kelly so badly. In this song, the guy gave up rapping and became a pop singer. After that, a lot of people had never even heard of Machine Gun Kelly, and only found out about him because Eminem responded in Killshot. By the way, that's exactly what Eminem mocks Machine Gun Kelly about. In one of the hardest lines of the song, he says, "It's your moment."
That's it. This is the biggest you're going to get, so enjoy it. I gave you a career just to ruin it.
This is the moment when you'll be most famous. Enjoy it. I had to give you a career so I could destroy it. A lot of people think Eminem only responded because Machine Gun Kelly called his daughter, Haley, hot. And yes, that definitely played a part. But here, the situation was deeper. Eminem saw Diddy's hand trying to get at him through a puppet.
Tells the day you put out a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got pop kill, huh?
Pay attention to what he says at the end of the song. Eminem isn't talking to Machine Gun Kelly here. He's sending a direct message to his boss. Kelly, the day you release a hit will be the day Diddy admits he ordered Tupac's murder. Man, do you realize how heavy that was? At the time, all that dirt about Diddy hadn't even come to light yet. Most people still only knew him as the guy from that song Last Night. The internet's reaction was so intense that the song hit 38 million views in 24 hours. The biggest hip-hop release in YouTube history, and the third biggest debut of any kind of video on the platform. In the last seconds of the song, Eminem says,
I'm just kidding.
Diddy, you know I love you, but let's be honest, right? Nobody believed that I'm just kidding. Eminem used the classic tactic of the court jester, telling the harshest truth as a joke. Eminem knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that Diddy couldn't sue him for defamation because in a case like that, the truth would have to be investigated. And the last thing Diddy would want is someone investigating Tupac's death. In interviews, Diddy was often asked if this accusation was true, and the mogul would always dodge the question with a certain degree of irritation.
This documentary made a claim we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even gonna go there. With all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist for asking. Thank you.
For decades, Diddy was protected by silence. Behind the scenes, everyone knew the guy was dangerous, but no one had concrete evidence. Until all of that changed in 2023. That year, several women came forward with accusations of assault and sexual abuse against Diddy. The most well-known case was that of his ex-girlfriend Cassie, who is known for the classic hit Me and You. Cassie. She went to court claiming that she spent years being beaten, drugged, and even raped by Diddy and several other men hired by him. Even a video of one of these assaults ended up leaking on the internet, and many other women joined the cause, which gave even more credibility to Cassie's account. To make Diddy's situation worse, Keith D ended up being arrested after he released a book called Compton Street Law, where he spoke openly about his relationship with Diddy. And he emphasized that the mogul offered $1 million to kill Tupac, but never paid him. We've reached 2024. Diddy still wasn't in jail, but his empire was already on the verge of collapsing, while the world was shocked by the allegations of abuse, bizarre parties, and the assault videos. Guess where Eminem was? Locked in the studio, just sharpening his knife to deliver the final blow to P. Diddy. On July 13th, just 2 months before the mogul's arrest, Eminem released the album The Death of Slim Shady. And in several tracks, he attacks Diddy in increasingly harsh ways. In Bad One, he talks about the famous white parties, saying,
Just to screw with you, and yeah, this much is true, but sounds like something that Puff would...
Offending you is what I like to do. It's just an excuse to mess with you. Sounds like something Puff would do at a party with Aaron Hall. By the way, Aaron Hall is one of the guys who allegedly raped a woman named Lisa Gardner, along with P. Diddy at one of the white parties, according to a report by Lisa herself. And still in the same song, Eminem recalls another bizarre episode involving Puff.
The fucking bomb with the puffy I'm blowing up the Kid Cudi's car.
I'm a bomb, warning Puff. I'm going to explode. Just like Kid Cudi's car in front of his house, where his friends are here. Eminem is making reference to an attack that happened in 2012, when Diddy literally blew up rapper Kid Cudi's car with a Molotov cocktail. After he found out that the rapper was dating Cassie, during a period when she and Diddy were separated. By the way, we've already talked about this in the video about the bad boy curse, and I'll also leave the link here in the description. And Eminem's massacre continues. On the track Antichrist, Eminem talks about the video where Puff is seen beating up his ex-girlfriend.
Dizendo. She probably ran out the room with his fucking dildo. He tried to field goal punish, she said to chill.
She probably ran out of the room taking his toy. He tried to kick her and told her to put it back in his ass. But the heaviest lines without a doubt come from the song Fearwell.
Got so many essays. He didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he?
And here there's a really clever wordplay. Check out this genius. When Eminem says, I'm like a rapper, he spells that word wrong, missing a letter P, so he spelled raper, which means rapist. Right after, he says he has a lot of essays, which means writing assignments, referring to his writing skills. But sexual assault also sounds like SA, which is an abbreviation for sexual assault. At the end, he says, wait, didn't he just spell the word raper and leave out a letter P? Yes, he did. But this last question, he says it quickly so that it sounds exactly like the name of the person he wants to destroy here.
Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? Yep.
In other words, Eminem basically called him rape, using a brilliant wordplay that no lawyer can take down, but everyone was able to catch. And right after that, he continues.
Yep. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Biggie and Pac. Both of y'all should be living.
Rest in peace, Big and Tupac. You both should be alive. But I don't want to pick a fight with him because if I do, he might have me killed. Just like he had Keith D do. And the question that remains is why? Why is Eminem the only one who can say all this and get away with it? Why did Diddy, who blew up other people's cars and ruined lives, never lay a finger on the skinny, shady guy? The answer's simple. Diddy operated through secrets. His power came from having dirt on people. He used to invite people to those disgusting parties of his, record everything, and then nobody could say anything. Eminem, he never went to those parties. The guy is a recluse. He goes from the studio to home, from home to shows, and doesn't live the dirty glamour of Hollywood. So, when you don't owe anything to anyone, when you have nothing to hide, you're not afraid? Diddy is a vampire who feeds on the vanity of washed-up Portuguese artists who want to be famous at any cost. And Eminem was never one of those guys. The craziest thing is that Eminem had the audacity to stand up to a guy who is not only a predator, but also a real psychopath, known for literally making anyone who got in his way disappear. And I'm not just talking about the deaths of Tupac and Big. Several other artists who crossed Diddy's path had mysterious and enigmatic deaths. Laya, Left Eye, and even Michael Jackson are just some of the artists. Is this just a tragic coincidence, or is it really a cover-up hiding something much dirtier? We've already told this whole story in the video that's showing up here above. Thanks for your company. See you in the next video.